Well, I can actually say it. It's good Sunday night live because I'm early in the night and David is late in the night. But welcome to episode number 259. Wait a second. Of Material Issues. We're always got issues going on. I'm Mark Hershberger of Pop Detective Records. Yes, I'm over here in very hot South Jersey. It's been beautiful. It's been great, but it's really late where David is now because he's not on the West Coast, the left coast. It's not middle of the afternoon. He just finished up IPO Stockholm and it is midnight Stockholm time. David, how the heck are you?
I'm doing well, Mark. How are you?
I'm actually doing very, very, very well today. Feeling pretty good. Went up to Randy Now's Man Cave in Hightstown, New Jersey last night. Had a Saturday night off from work, and I saw my good buddy and Pop Detective Records artist Vibeke Sagastad band. She played 12 tracks, including a couple of the new from her new album. And Palmyra Del Rey finished up the night. And it was kind of a who's who of everybody was there last night and had a great time. So before you get into all your stuff, I just want to show a couple things because I don't have anywhere near as much as you do. But I picked up Palmyra and the Doppelgang Come Spy With Me. This is her 2018 vinyl that's got it's got everybody from Stevie Van Zandt, Debbie Harry, Eddie Munoz, Kim Shattuck, Saremba. Everybody's on it. Great album. I wanted to support Randy and buy something at the Man Cave. So even though it hasn't grown on me yet. I got the pink vinyl Dungeon Lane. So it's in my possession. I'll have to listen to that more and see if it's grown on me anymore. Viveca's brand new vinyl EP.
Oh wow!
Just out. It's on red vinyl with her single "Hey Now Sunshine." So it's a four track, 33 to third big EP, and the ultra rare out of print Overdrive, Viveca's first album out on vinyl, but already sold out and extremely rare. So
did that just come out on vinyl?
It's been out for a few months. I didn't even really know.
It's 2026 though. Okay.
It's on Norska Album Klassiker, so a Norwegian company put this out. It's it originally says the 2003 original release, which is the CD release, but this is on red vinyl. Very cool. So I picked up some vinyl, did some shopping, had some great music last night, but not as much music as you've been listening to the last couple of weeks, right?
Not at all. IPO Liverpool went very, very well. One of the best ones we've had. Just so many tremendous bands, including a few young ones that I think we might be hearing from, like the 44s,
right,
out of London. Let's see who else. I'm trying to recall some of the names. Swindled, another UK band. The Silverados out of LA, who are on tour in the UK, and one of their wishes was to play the Cavern.
Ah.
And by the time I found all that out, we were full. But then, as we always do, we had some last minute dropouts and slots opened, and I was able to give them some, and they also really impressed.
Right.
But yeah, just a lot of impressive bands, 12 countries represented. It was really a lot of fun, and a little bit more chill than some of the other ones were. Like in the past, when we were done, the security was always rushing people out.
Right.
I mean, they were really putting pressure on people to leave. But this year, not so much. They would just politely ask people to go, and people did. And we didn't feel nearly as much pressure to get our stuff, put all our merch stuff put back in the closet that we use. And it was all good.
Yeah, good.
And the weather was fantastic. Well, it was really hot for a lot of the days, but it didn't rain. Not during IPO anyway.
Right.
Actually, the day after IPO, it did rain. And when we got to Milan, it was thunderstormy. Fortunately not for landing, but it was when we were looking for food, and there wasn't a lot of it open because it was a Republic Day, which is a national holiday in Italy. So we fortunately we found a place, but had to deal with some pretty massive thunder and lightning.
Wow.
I mean, Shy Coltrane either.
Andy,
hey, Andy.
Checking in, Andy. Andy played IPO Liverpool.
Andy, indeed, his band Searching for Sylvia did play, and they got donations for cancer research, which is a cause that Andy is very passionate about. So that was really nice. Liverpool, all told, was really wonderful.
Now you had the Cavern Club, but you also had the Cavern Pub going on.
Yeah, we did have the pub.
Currently,
we've always had both the club and the pub. The one thing we haven't had since COVID is the front stage. But you know what? I mean, when I first found out that we couldn't use it, I was really just really floored in a bad way, and I was really concerned about the whole thing. But as it turns out, I like the fact that we're only in the back. I can watch everybody's full set, which I couldn't do before.
Right.
And also, we have a big merch table in the back. I'm able to bring my laptop, which is a huge help also, because I have to write out those descriptions, and I really don't like doing it on the phone. You know, my fat old man fingers just they don't have much facility with a phone keypad pad, but with a laptop it's fine.
So let's put aside the rumor. I thought Rena was writing giant cue cards for you and holding them up in the back of the room. No,
she's doing that right now.
Oh, okay. See, I knew it. I knew she does all the thinking for you.
No, for sure she does. She is the brains of this outfit. I'm just a figurehead. Right.
We're not even sure you're real. You could be, as we mentioned, Max Headroom like.
Yeah, I'm a hologram, actually. It's like a quantum leap. I'm Dean Stockwell. I'm a hologram. Anyway, so that was all good. Then we had a flight to Milan, but before that, at Manchester Airport, I happened to pass a watch store, and I certainly can't resist that. And it was a really good one. Yeah, very true, Andy. A little less running around, and that is very helpful. So I went in, and everything was heavily discounted. Plus, there's no tax, and of course, no shipping.
Yeah.
And my favorite watch in my collection is the Frederic Constant World Timer, which I've shown before. But they had a really kind of classy, elegant Frederic Constant as well. And I didn't have any watches with Roman numerals all the way through. So this is really just a nice dress watch, which, again, the only dress watch I had was the Mont Blanc with the salmon, which is a very cool dress watch. But this one, if I ever do have to wear a suit, like at a funeral, because that's the only way I'm wearing a suit, this one will go well. But it also goes well casually, and it's automatic and has a date, and it's just no big frills, but just very nice to look at, and I couldn't resist it. So there you go.
Well, put it this way. I mean, when your time comes, make sure you have your paisley or whatever shirt laid out, because I know you don't want to be buried in a suit.
Hell no. Paisley shirt, some jeans, some nice sneakers and good black sneakers in good condition, and I'm good to go.
Now, if you could be buried with one record album in your hands before they close the casket, what record album is that one going to be?
Well, it would be my favorite album, Sunflower.
Okay, all right.
By the Beach Boys. Yeah, for sure. I would.
That's a pretty cool way to go. Having an album there, and
it hadn't occurred to me, but now that you mention it, that will be if for whatever reason any kind of burial can be arranged, I will make sure that happens. But I certainly don't want a somber funeral. I want a celebration of life. Absolutely.
I'm thinking we have a custom casket that has speakers in it for you, so it's blasting all your favorite Beach Boys albums, or I think
Why
it'd be
not,
great.
right?
Yeah, right.
Well, hopefully the time doesn't come that soon, but
No, but I don't look at things like that as somber. When I talk about it, I kind of do it tongue in cheek and have a good time with it. But
I mean, what do you want when it's your time? Do you want an actual funeral or celebration of life, cremation?
It's already in my will. I'm going to be cremated. I do not want a service or anything. I just want my daughters to go to the gravesite, which I already have. It's in the middle of nowhere, New Enterprise, PA, population of 300 people. And if you don't know exactly how to get to the cemetery, you'll never find it. It's so small, remote, and hidden. And I said, just put my urn in the ground and play the long and winding road, and then walk away. That's it.
What was the old joke? What's a Grecian urn? It depends on what he does for a living. Yeah. But
he's here all night, 2 shows.
I was here all night actually at Encore. But we'll get to that in a bit. So we flew into Milan, stayed there for a couple of days. It's not a place I really want to go back to. And it wasn't that I had a bad time. It was fine. I mean, the people were nice. The food was good. Record shopping was just decent, but I did find one very cool thing that I'll show you. The thing that really depressed me was there's so much graffiti. And I don't mean just in alleys or places where you would expect it. For example, Rena and I did a boat tour, a canal tour, which we've done in Copenhagen and in, where else did we do a canal tour? In Amsterdam. And those were both really nice tours. I mean, the views were really good. I mean, you saw a lot of history. In Copenhagen, we saw where Hans Christian Andersen hung out. Where he lived when he was, writing a lot of his stories and poetry. And I remember in Amsterdam there were similar things of historical value, and the views were just really striking. In Milan, well, first of all, it wasn't a guided tour. It was just an engineer of the boat. And, people were just talking to each other. So
it's like right there,
that was kind of a bummer. But the worst thing was everywhere we looked, on every building, there was graffiti. I mean, historical buildings, office buildings, everything.
Yeah, that's nasty.
It was the most depressing thing. I mean, it almost made New York look like Barbie Town. I mean, New York in the 70s, I should say.
Right.
New York now looks pretty good. It was cleaned up, but I don't know if it's just too overwhelming for the Milan City Council or whoever handles those matters. Maybe they do clean it up and then immediately it gets graffitied again.
Yeah, and they're just like, what can we do? Wow.
I mean, people are always talking about, well, it's part of a certain culture and the artwork is very expressive. It's like, all right, I get that. Find other places to do it. All right. Find an area that you can devote to graffiti, and leave it at that. But, you're defacing property. I don't care how good it looks.
Yeah.
And most of it really doesn't. Most of it just looks like your typical crap.
Well, Andy's going with Fairport Convention in his.
Well,
or the band.
I never know how to pronounce that. Legion Leaf, the third Fairport album. If I was to choose a Fairport album, it would be what we did on our holidays. It's got my favorite Fairport song on it, "Tale in Hard Time." It's got both Ian Matthews and Sandy Denny, who, in my opinion, were two of the greatest vocalists of all time. Then again, the third album, On Half Rigging, has $1 Million Bash, so the Dylan cover. So maybe I should go with that. But
I took my dad and mom on a Italian cruise after I got divorced, and my dad was so looking forward to going to Pompeii, and so was I. You grow up reading about Pompeii and whatnot, but when we went there, and then you start walking around Pompeii, you have a guide, then you go off on your own. Pompeii was, at the time, I don't know if it's better, but it was just filled with so much trash. You'd look in this little window and say, oh, this was the bakery where they founded that. And there was just like, Coke cans and crap thrown everywhere. And it was like, somebody clean this up. This is Pompeii. This is, but it was everywhere. It was just nasty. Even my dad was like, this guy takes the shine off it all, Yeah.
Oh, that really, that's so disconcerting. It's such a bummer.
Yeah.
We were in Rome last year. Rome was great, I have to say. Even though it was fucking hot, you don't want to go to Rome in June. Forget about that. But we made that mistake. But beyond that, it's a beautiful city with great people, and the food was amazing. I mean, it was good in Milan too. But although I should say, Rena had, as she said, the best tiramisu she's ever had in her life.
There you go.
At a restaurant in Milan. It was so good that we went back. So there is that. But by and large, I was not disappointed to leave, especially knowing that I was coming to Stockholm. And, Stockholm is what it's been. I mean, it's a...
No, thanks, Andy.
Oh, all right. Well, that's good to know.
One of these days when you're doing Stockholm, that's a destination I want to get back to and hang out with music stuff. And first,
you say back to you've been there?
I've been to Stockholm before, but it wasn't music related. It was just touring around a little bit. But
all right.
I'd rather go for music stuff. And record shopping and that kind of thing. So,
well, you got to go to Nostalgia Palazzo.
Yeah, right. See, I didn't know anything about it, before. So,
no, we found out the first year I was there. I don't think I knew about it either. But the second year, we had found out about it from one of the local musicians, and he told me it was great, but I certainly wasn't ready. I mean, it was eye popping. Yeah. Still is, really. But anyway. So Stockholm's beautiful. As soon as we got off the plane, took a cab to the hotel, got checked in, went up to the room, and immediately went to Nostalgia Palazzo. We had less than an hour to be there, so we're going again tomorrow, and along with other record stores like Pet Sounds and a few others that we didn't have time to go to. So IPO is only 2 days this year. It was a full Saturday and a full Sunday, 25 bands in total. The bands were great. And Encore is a really nice room.
It looked like a very cool room. Yeah.
Very cool room. And the sound engineer is a very cool guy. The only thing is, and I didn't want to say this to him, and I don't know that he would have taken it well if I had, he mixes everything way too bassy. So bands who have nuances to their music, they tend to get drowned out by just too loud a bass.
Gotcha.
It wasn't disco room loud bass, but it was more than it should have been. I mean, the Cavern has almost perfect sound.
Yeah.
And we had just come from there, so I had a reference point, one that was never going to work in Encore's favor. But the bands were wonderful. Unfortunately, the crowds were not, and we knew going in this was going to be a challenge. This was Sweden's national holiday.
Okay.
And people either go out of town or they stay home, or if the weather's really good, as it was, they'll just stay outside and they'll do outdoor activities. So it was a trifecta of doom for us.
Right.
And consequently, the crowds were never big at all. I mean, there were a couple of times where the room at least had a modicum of people, so it didn't look dreadful. But it was, it's something that hopefully, if they want us back, what I plan to do if they want us back next year is to do Stockholm before Liverpool.
Oh, okay.
Do it in May. We actually did it at the end of May, the first few years, and it worked out great. Then we moved Liverpool to the bank holiday weekend, and once that happened, we pardon me. Thank you.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, we couldn't do it in May anymore, and this particular weekend is just the worst. So next year, hopefully in May, and I'm sure the crowds will be much better. But yeah, the bands were really good. So we had 2 days of a good time, and even though there wasn't much of a crowd, the bands themselves were very happy to play. They met each other, they made contacts. That's a side benefit of IPO.
Sure. Yeah.
Bands, being like-minded, even if they don't do the same kind of music, they know that it's all melody driven, and they appreciate each other. A lot of them stayed to watch the other bands, and I mean, there were many of the bands were thanking me profusely, which I didn't expect because, again, the crowds weren't that good, but they had a really amazing time, and I'm so grateful to all of them. Really, I mean, without them, obviously, there's no IPO, and they get it. The ones who play IPO generally get what it's about. There are some who will not play because they don't get it, and you can't. It's like the line I was telling me. It's like the line in Doc Hollywood, where the mayor wants to convince Michael J. Fox's character to stay, but Michael wants to leave.
Yeah.
He says, "Well, how am I going to convince you to stay here if you're not here?" And that's really what it is. You don't know. You can't convince somebody about IPO and expect them to get it unless they're actually there. And once they're there, then most of them are really glad that they did it, and they come back. And we have so many repeat bands, and that's so gratifying. So if I get it, you John Borak paraphrasing one of our favorite lines from The Honeymooners. It was the episode where Ralph found a suitcase full of money, and he thought he was rich, and of course it turned out to be counterfeit. But meanwhile, he was spending it all over town, and he was giving it away to a lot of people. Finally, when he found out that it was counterfeit, he, instead of being really bummed about it, thank you, Andy. Instead of being really bummed about it, he put it in perspective, and he said, "I had it, and I went with it. Easy come, easy go. If anyone else knew I had it, they could have it." And that we just love. Also, of course, it's Gleason delivering the line. So
yeah.
But yeah, he kind of put it into perspective, and
nice.
So John and I quote that line or quote variations of that line quite a bit in real life situations.
You and John have a lot of quotes in movies and books and things. I'm very impressed with that all the time.
No, ball four is a big one that we lift. We lift these quotes and apply them to everyday situations or funny situations, and we also come up with some of our own things that we use. And that's one of those. One of the great things for me about having close friends is that you develop that sort of inside communication. You'll say things to each other that nobody will. Like, see, here's another one. That's a paraphrase of one of Dennis Wilson's most famous lines about Charles Manson. He called, since Manson had this mystical aura about him, Dennis called him the Wizard. And when he was interviewed about Manson, and this is before the murders, but he's trying to promote Charles Manson as a potential artist on Brother Records. So he's trying to explain, about Manson to this interviewer, and he says, "The Wizard frightens me sometimes." But then he goes on to say that he's what does he say? He's God. He's the devil. He's a songwriter. He's a singer, and he might be a Brother Records artist.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, we know that didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Shit.
But hell, who covered his song "Look at Your Game, Girl"? Was it? Wasn't it Guns N' Roses, maybe, or some other hair band?
Really? No, don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was a hair band that covered, because "Look at Your Game, Girl" actually, from a melodic standpoint, is pretty good.
Yeah.
And Manson's voice, to be honest, isn't that terrible. Yeah, it was passable. And he was a passable guitar player.
Guns
Oh,
and Roses.
yeah, okay.
Not just Guns, just Guns and Roses.
Did I just say did I just say Guns? I must be really out of it right now. Anyway, yeah. So I think they were doing it probably ironically, but again, it's not a bad song. Pretty much everything else on that bootleg album of his, like Garbage Dump, that's pretty bad. But hey, the Beach Boys covered, what they did for the song of Manson's called Cease to Exist is they basically took the melody line, some of the lyrics, they changed the lyric from Cease to Exist to Cease to Resist. So it's Dennis basically singing to a woman to, basically be with him.
Right.
And they changed the title to Never Learn Not to Love. And Manson was really upset, not because of the change of the title, but he did not like his lyrics to be messed with. So that just gave him another reason to be pissed off at Dennis Wilson. And this is after, of course, he cleaned Dennis Wilson out of like hundreds of thousands of dollars of clothes and his gold records. And I think they stole one of his cars. And they also left him with a huge gonorrhea bill. Because the girls and Manson himself and Dennis himself, because he was indulging in the Manson girls, they all developed the clap, and he had to pay for it. So
what a time.
Manson had some nerve being angry. Manson had some nerve being angry at Dennis. Never mind the fact that he, orchestrated all these murders.
Right? Yeah. Besides the fact, yeah.
But yeah, sure, so the line that's the Wizard Frightened Me Sometime is a line in one of in Stephen Gaines' book Heroes and Villains, and of course we had him as a guest.
Yeah, indeed. No, it always amazes me that I'm that way with a lot of movies and things with friends and whatnot, but you guys really pull some deep quotes out, which is great. It's great.
No, it's great when we can apply them to everyday things.
Yeah, it's pop culture. But
so anyway, let's see our itinerary next. Well, we're here in Stockholm tomorrow and Tuesday with, all the free time we want. What are we going to do with it? I'll give you one guess.
Would the word vinyl be involved?
It would be very heavily involved.
Heavily involved. Okay.
So in 2 words, compact and disc. Yeah. So, and the good thing is Rena does, as long as the store has CDs in it, she is happy to go. If it's just a vinyl place like Nostalgia Palazzo, then, she'll live vicariously through me and enjoy watching me just watch my eyes bug out. But for the most part, she just kind of sits there. But if we go to places with CDs, then she's happy. And she always finds a couple of things.
Now, do you have anything that is bouncing around your brain that no matter where you're at shopping, it's on your really high want list, or do you just go and start searching and maybe run into something that you go, wow, Well,
last year, Nostalgia Palazzo, when, I'd already found a bunch of stuff, and then the manager said, well, we've got this rare box and behind the counter. Okay. Hey.
Morning from Taipei.
Good morning.
Good morning.
He said, we have this rare box. So you want to look at it? Yeah. So I went back, and that's where I found the Japanese Ivy's album, which that made my eyes just absolutely leave it was one of those Bugs Bunny moments, one of like a Bob Clampett Bugs Bunny, where he really uses the
Animaniac.
Anything goes. Yeah. So the eyes go boom, like, about 8 inches from his head. That's kind of what mine would have done. And so, yeah, there were a few things in that rare box that I picked up. And I picked, they had a rare box this year where I also picked up a few things. Nothing quite as amazing as that Ivy's album, but we'll get to that. But yeah, we'll be hitting Pet Sounds, which is the first Stockholm record store we ever went to. We'll be hitting Record Hunter, which Rena really loves because they have the best selection of indie CDs in Sweden that we've seen, and a few others. And we're probably going to get together with our Swedish friend P.O., who's also a big record collector. In fact, he's told me about a few places that I haven't seen yet. So we'll do that. And we'll find some good food. Maybe we'll go to the Indian restaurant that we really like here. I think it's called Indian Garden. It's not far from Pet Sound, so we'll probably do that. It's important to Rena. She hasn't been eating regularly on this trip, so mainly because of IPO. But I think now we'll be able to do a little bit more of that. Tomorrow, well, one thing for sure, I have to go to a DHL and mail back a whole bunch of records because it'll cost way too much to bring my overweight bag on the plane. So I'm gonna have to do that. We're also going to probably go to the Stockholm Museum, which is right near our hotel. We've never been there. I'm not even sure what's in it, but probably something, probably a whole bunch of historical artifacts and, displays and things like that. So it should be fun. We may also go back to the ABBA Museum, which we haven't been to since 2015.
The ABBA Museum?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Well, the ABBA... In 2015, it was kind of a combination ABBA Museum and Swedish Music Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, there were rock and pop bands in that Hall of Fame, but also complete adult artists as well. It was just every possible genre that qualified for their Hall of Fame. I'm not sure what their criteria were, but anyway, so we'll see if we want to do that. But Rena always wants to do some tourist stuff, and it's fine with me. I mean, she puts up with all this record crap to me, so she deserves it. Right now, she's sleeping.
Well, it is pretty late. It's what? It's 12:30.
12:32 right now. Yeah. So anyway, we'll be here for the next couple of days. And Wednesday morning, we head over to Glasgow. We'll get there Wednesday afternoon. And we'll have time to check in and probably not do record shopping Wednesday evening, but we will certainly Thursday during the day because the show doesn't start till 8:00. And we've never done IPO in Glasgow, so we're really looking forward to it. Yeah, I've heard very good things about the venue. It's not a big place. It's going to be the smallest place by far of the 3 cities on this tour, but it should work out well.
Nice.
So we're looking forward to that, and a lot of great bands playing IPO Stockholm. Glasgow. There really are many. Half of whom played Liverpool, I think, or close to half, and the other half were new ones that we discovered in doing searches for Glasgow. So we're really looking forward to that, and then we leave Monday morning for Inverness. We're going to see the Loch Ness Monster. Haha.
Yeah.
And just kind of chill until. We leave Sunday for Inverness. Pardon me, and we'll chill there until early Tuesday morning when we have our flight, which goes into Heathrow. We wait there a couple of hours, and then we fly directly back from Heathrow to LA. Which, as long as they have high-speed Wi-Fi, which
you're happy.
Yeah, I mean, hell, I'll just I'll talk to people. I'll watch stuff. Timing wise, will the Yankees be on? No, they might be actually at the beginning of the flight. It's really cool. I love that. I love in-flight Wi-Fi. One of my favorite inventions.
So changed everything. Yeah,
that's that. If it's okay, I'd love to show some of the stuff that I've picked up record-wise so far.
Yeah, indeed. Let's see what all the hubbub's about.
Well, we'll start with Liverpool, an album that a lot of pop fans know about. That was recently reissued, was out on CD initially, and only on vinyl in Europe. Toy Matinee.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Are you familiar with this?
Oh yeah. Love Toy Matinee. Yep.
Toy Matinee, and Kevin Gilbert's band. And
yeah.
It's just really, really good harmony pop stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of commercial, but in a good way. The first 4 songs are easily my favorite. Then I have to admit the album takes a little bit of a downturn, but the first 4 are wonderful. And as a collector, to find the vinyl, which is really rare, again, only European, because by the time this album came out, they weren't pressing much vinyl in the US. So even though this is an American group, it only came out on vinyl in Europe. So there was a store in Manchester that had that. And I was surprised because normally they don't have anything quite that good. But there you go.
Yeah.
A store called Dead Vinyl in Liverpool had, I don't know if you're familiar with the artist Jane Weaver.
No.
She's a singer-songwriter from the UK who I would love to have had at IPO, but she's just got a little bit too successful, has management. And anyway, the one album I really loved by her is, oh, that's good to know, Andy. We'll probably do that. The one album I really like by her is A Flock, which is on Fire Records. And this store happened to have a test pressing of it, which, again, I never thought I would see. I never thought I'd see that. So I picked that up. Well, this album, try and imagine, I don't know, Enya with some balls.
Okay.
And I actually like Enya. She was part of that whole new age thing.
Sure. Yeah.
But I thought she did it really well. I mean, God, those vocals, those harmonies, unbelievable. So she doesn't quite have that full production, but there are similarities, and especially on this album. So I was very happy to find that. Then I went to 81 Renshaw in Liverpool, and they had, and I probably did overpay for this, but they had a mono Satanic Majesty's Request with a lenticular cover. It's an original. I was a little concerned because I bought it and I told my other friend Mark about it, and he said, "Are you sure it's a true mono?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He says, "Half of them are fold downs." For those who are watching who don't know what a fold down is, it's basically, think about it as if you have an old stereo with a mono button. Right. And you're listening to a stereo album, you hit the mono button. So it's really not a dedicated mono mix. While a true mono is actually a mix that's different, sometimes strikingly different. Like if you listen to Revolver by the Beatles,
right? Yeah.
That mono is just so in your face and so powerful. And you hear certain nuances that you don't hear on the stereo. I mean, your preference is going to depend upon, your own personal taste, but
sure. Yeah.
It is something, people love that mono Revolver for its in your face kind of thing. But anyway, I said, well, Mark, how do I know whether or not it's vinyl? I don't have a turntable, or whether or not it's a fold down. I don't have a turntable here. He said, look in the groove. If it says T2, you're in trouble. So I looked in the run out groove and no T2. So it is a true mono. But,
happy moment.
And the good thing about true mono records from the 60s is they don't have to be in the best condition. Even if they're somewhat beat up, the only time you're going to hear crackles is between the songs.
Yeah.
But when the songs are playing, it's going to sound fine. And I noticed that there was a bit of a scratch on this one, so I asked the guy to play it, and there were no clicks, and I also could hear that it wasn't too worn either. It was good. So I'm happy I bought it. I probably spent a little more than I should have, but whatever. You're out in the wild, and it happens.
Where do the Stones rank in your pantheon?
Well, they're nowhere near my top 10, I have to admit. I'd say they do make my top 100. They had enough albums that I really like, plus of course all the hits that they had. I'd say they were, in 1992 I did a top 100, and at that point they were ranked number 51.
Did you get any shit for ranking them 51?
At that point, there weren't that many people that knew about it. Now, if I put that on social media back then, had there been, I'm sure I would have gotten it a lot of it. I think if I look back at that list, I probably ranked some stuff a little bit higher than I should have, because I was at the time more excited about it, and it didn't quite have the staying power.
Mm-hmm.
I look at that list, and and this is something we don't need to get into too heavily, but making a favorite artist list is just so fraught with problems. Like the Beckys, for example. It's my second favorite album of all time, but they only released one record. Should they rank as high as, let's say, a band like the Kinks, who never had a record that came close to number 2, but had a lot of really good ones? What about somebody who only had 2 albums, but they both did great? How should they compare with a band like the Stones, for example?
Yeah, but again, it's personal choice.
Difficult.
If I were to say to you, you're going to a desert island and you can have 5 Kinks albums, or you can have the one Becky's album, what are you going to take? You're probably going to take the one Becky's album.
I would take the one Becky's album, but of course the Kinks had more than 5 albums. They said,
well, no, but I'm just
saying, 10
Kinks
albums, I might take that.
Okay, but when you're ranking, I think whether they have one album or whether they have 20 albums, if you really love an artist for that one album, then for me personally, that artist might be in my top 10. Depending.
Yeah, look, I like that you put it in that desert island disc perspective, because I hadn't really thought of that. But you're right. I mean, I probably would. I don't know that I would take my top 10 albums. I might want a little more diversity if I was going to be on a desert island. But yeah, that is.
And again, it's your personal choice, and your top 100 artists, it's going to be much different than somebody else's. Somebody else might think of it in those terms as well. Right. The Stones have 58 albums out or whatever. Look what whatever, and they got to be up there in the top 5 because look at their output. Yeah, but if I'm not crazy about most of their output, then to me it doesn't mean a thing.
Yeah, it really shouldn't. And sometimes when people make lists, they feel compelled to add people that maybe they don't like as much as they would want to admit. And I know people will make a top 10 albums list to say, or a top 10 song list, and they'll say, well, the Beatles have to be in there because they're the Beatles. Well, all right, but maybe you do like 10 songs by other people more than your favorite Beatles song.
And quite honestly, I can say, for me, I love the Beatles. They're probably my top favorite artist of all time. However, if you asked me to list my top 10 favorite songs, there might not be a Beatles song in the top 10 because I like other individual songs from other artists much more than maybe the overall output. But the overall output, I'm a Beatles guy,
Well, the Beatles are my second favorite act next to the Beach Boys. They do not have a song in my top 10, but if I stretch the top 10 out to a top 100, they're going to have several songs.
Sure.
In there. It's a really interesting thing. And some people would say just don't think about it. Just do it viscerally. And I try to do that, but then I have these conundrums like, am I doing the right thing? And some people would just say you're a geek, stop taking that stuff seriously, go out, get laid, that's what they would have said to me 50 years ago.
When you're really into music, though, that's where things get such gray areas, because I can walk down the street and all of a sudden think of an XTC song that I absolutely love and go, oh, that's got to be in my top 10. I love that song. It's got to be top 10. And then it'll remind me of another XTC song where I go, wait, I like that one a lot too. But do I like that more? And I get into this whole conversation in my head over, oh, crap, I forgot all about and you forget about this stuff.
That's the hardest. Yeah. I posted something actually from IPO Liverpool about making these lists. And the hardest thing about making a top 100 song list is that invariably you're going to say, oh, shit, I forgot that. Mm-hmm. Oh, shit, I forgot that. And then suddenly you're taking off number 199. They're no longer on the list. and then you have to move every other song to down a notch, 2 notches, 3 notches, because you found other songs that should have been in your top 20 or 30, and then you do all that, and then it's like, oh no, I forgot that, and it's almost never ending.
And when you've been around, and here's the interesting thing about guys like us that are into a genre that we call power pop a lot, because a lot of people don't know a lot of bands that we know. Sure. Your average friend has never heard of probably 88% of the bands that we love. They probably haven't. And because there's so much of that music that we've been listening to for such a long time, there's artists and acts and songs that I love, but I've forgotten all about it. I haven't listened to it in 40 years.
Yeah.
And you're like, gosh almighty, I couldn't revisit all the songs that I really love with the time I have left on this planet. There's just no way to do it, and that is a weird way of thinking about things too. It's like, oh, geez,
I try to put, people will see my collection and they'll say, how in the world are you ever going to have time to listen to all of this? And what I say to them is, I know that that if I want to hear a certain song, I can.
Right.
And that's really the key. Knowing that you could, and we talked about the Datsun commercial many times on this show, but knowing that you could is more powerful than anything.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And should there come a time when Spotify is canceled,
and it might be,
then all of a sudden people who say, yeah, but I can just pull it up on Spotify. Well, A, doesn't sound the same no matter what you're playing it through.
True.
But B, if it disappears and you can't find that stuff anymore, guy like you have it. You got it.
Well, that's why a lot of people sold their collections when streaming happened, and I would tell them, look, don't be so sure you're making the right decision, because a law could change like that, and suddenly, oh, guess what? Streaming's illegal. We're taking down all these companies.
Yeah.
So then you're screwed.
Right.
So I mean, if you have to sell your collection because you need money, I mean,
that's one thing.
Shame, but that's life.
Yeah.
If you're selling it just because you don't feel you need it anymore because you could stream, you may be making a mistake. So.
Well, and and some people like that, and people are what they are, but we grew up with the physical. We grew up loving to hold that 12-inch and looking at the back cover and where it was recorded and who produced it, who played on it, and that the physical thing means a lot to us in our generation.
Yeah.
Younger generations, they could care less, and
most of them could not care less. Yeah.
And it's clutter. So, I'm happy. I'm happy in the time that I grew up and everything that it's led to today, which is fine with me.
Absolutely, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
So there is a record store that just opened a few months ago, right near the Cavern.
Oh wow!
Appropriately enough, it's called Matthew Street Records. I went in there and saw this Wings.
Oh yeah,
like complete Back to the Egg sessions. I know I posted about it on Facebook. And I really wanted to buy it because number one, it looks very cool, and number two, Back to the Egg is an album that Universal has not done in deluxe form. Do they even care? Does McCartney even care? I believe McCartney has to give it the green light. He may not give a shit anymore. It may never happen. So I would have bought it immediately. But the thing I really needed to know was, how does it sound? You're talking about a bootleg here. Let's face it. And I was brought up in a day when bootlegs sounded like crap.
Sure.
And I'm not even just talking about live bootlegs, which always sounded like crap because nobody was getting mixes off the board. They were doing what Rerun did on What's Happening. They were bringing tape recorders in and hiding them in their jacket. So live recordings are terrible. But even those that had outtakes and demos, a lot of them, they were getting like fourth, fifth, sixth generation, and then being recorded again on a cassette, and then put to vinyl. It's only recently, of course, things have gotten better, and people have gotten more sophisticated and have stolen the right stuff. And then, transferring it to vinyl is not a big issue. But I really wanted to know how good it sounded. The woman who was there behind the counter, one of the owners, she didn't have any idea, but she said, my partners would, but they're not going to be back for a couple of days. So, okay, I said, put it on hold for me then. In the meantime, I found a video, and this is really funny. I found a video on YouTube, a 22-minute video presented by a guy who bought this thing. And for 22 minutes, he's talking about how it looks. He's displaying it. He's talking about what's on it. And not 1 second is spent on how it sounds.
Right.
And I'm thinking, all right, I understand about being a collector. I understand it as well as anybody. And there are certain things that you want because they're cool. But then there are other things where the music is unique to whatever the item is. It's not like a German pressing of something, for example, where you just want it because you want to be a completist. And it doesn't really matter what the record sounds like because you're never going to play it. But something like this, I don't want to waste the money. And this was not cheap.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste the money on something that's going to sound like crap. And this guy's doing a 22-minute video. It's like, all right, I mean, don't you think people want to know that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, I waited. The other owner came in, and he assured me that it sounds really good.
Okay.
And I have a feeling he's right. Obviously, I haven't had a chance to play it yet. I will when I get home. But
you said cool. Don't mess with me, and you pointed to your brick across the street, right?
Damn right. Yeah, it was great to revisit the brick too. I got a new photo with it and everything. But anyhow, so there was that. So let's see. So the one record, I did buy a few records in Milan. One of the cool ones, which I forgot to display, it's a copy of Elvis Costello's Get Happy, an Italian promo. So that's something you don't see very often. So I had to pick that up. But they also had at another shop an original pressing of XTC's None Such.
Yeah.
This is a British copy. Again, kind of like the Toy Matinee. This is an early 90s record that was not pressed in the U.S., only came out on CD in the U.S., as well as other countries, but some did vinyl. The U.K. was doing vinyl later than most countries, so, but this thing quickly disappeared, as opposed to Then She'll Appear, which is on one of the best songs on this record. But, it's now a collector's item, pretty pricey, although this one wasn't too bad. And so I looked at the records. They're in really nice shape. The cover is not bad. It's got a few minor flaws, but good enough. Mm-hmm. So that was the one record in Milan that was worth actually being in Milan for. But there is also one good thing musically that I found out about, and I wouldn't have found out had we not gone to Milan. And that is there's a band that I think, like the Stones, have about 48 records called E-Poo, The Pooh. They've gone through all kinds of changes, both lineup-wise and stylistic, as any band that goes through the decades does. But their first 3 albums in the 60s are pretty cool. Pretty cool beat pop, a little bit psychedelic. When I was in Rome, I bought a copy of the first one. An original, which was not cheap. The second one is called Contrasto, and that's the best one. It's incredibly rare. Nobody's had one. They're not even on Discogs. And the third one's called Memory. It's like memory, i.e. And it's from 69. It's a little bit more psychedelic. They're all really good. Universal Italy has reissued all 48 of the band's albums, apparently, or whatever, however many, including the first 3. And and no store in Milan had them. But fortunately, Amazon Italy did. So they're winging their way as we speak to my house, and they're going to get there only a day after I am. So I cannot wait for those.
Well, you know, the older you get, it's hard to get a good poo.
Yeah, especially when you're traveling. Let me tell you.
Lord Almighty, that's an interesting story. I like that.
All right, so I don't think I would have known that had we not gone to Milan. I never would have looked it up. I never would have heard about it from anyone. So that was the silver lining in the.
If there's a Milan silver lining.
Yeah, the Milan silver lining in the depression that is that city. All right, so we went to Nostalgia Palazzo when we got here, as I mentioned, and picked up a few cool things. The coolest are the first two Nas albums, Japanese originals. And here they are.
Oh, yeah. Obi strips.
Well, this is the thing.
Yeah.
The Obies are not real.
Right.
The Obies are, and it says on the Obi, Xerox replica, which is very cheesy, honestly. But I would have bought them even without the Obi, because if you start holding out for Obies on these 60s Japanese albums, you're just never going to get any.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do find one, it's going to be like $2,000.
So these aren't reissued albums. These are original, but they Xerox the original Obi and put it on there, right?
Well, I think what I think happened is the guy who sold these records to Nostalgia Palazzo had more than one copy of each. Probably he had one. He had ones with Obies, and he had these without. So rather than just selling to them without, he made Xeroxes of his Obies. And put them on here. I mean, good. It looks great.
Yeah.
But the key for me was that they're original Japanese pressings, and had they had actual Obies, they would have cost probably 10 times what I paid for them. So, for those people who don't know, Obies are those strips that wrap around the record. You can see on this one. This wraps around the front and the back.
Right. Yeah.
It's only made of paper, and obviously with a little bit of handling, they tend to break, and then they tend to be thrown out. So finding original 60s Japanese albums with Obies is very, very difficult. It's kind of a fool's errand. And again, if you hold out for them, you're probably never going to get the album. And if you do find it, be prepared to pay mucho money or a lot. And
they never like it. And if you get one with an actual Obi on it, and you take the plastic wrap off, the Obies don't fit inside the album to save.
No, they don't.
So it's like you're kind of screwed. Yeah, how do you unless you put it in a nice plastic sleeve, which I didn't have way back when, but you're kind of screwed. But here's a good trivia for you. Where does the word Obi come from? Why do you know why it's called an Obi?
Obi-Wan Kenobi? No, I have no idea.
I didn't know either, but because everybody knows we call them Obies. I just looked it up. An Obi is actually a broad sash worn around the waist of a Japanese kimono.
Whoa.
So if it's a sash around a kimono, that's a sash around a record album.
Yeah, yeah,
called an Obi.
Wow, all right.
Good I didn't know that. A little bit of trivia for everybody watching Material Trivia tonight.
No, that's really cool. Now they still put Obies around records.
Yeah.
And they also put them around CDs. Usually if I have when I get a Japanese album on CD and it's got an Obi, I take the Obi off, and if you put it in horizontally, it usually makes it through.
Yeah.
And also the Obies on CDs are made of more like thin cardboard rather than just paper. So they're a little bit more robust, and they're not likely to break, unless you screw around with them. But Obies around vinyl, they don't last very long.
No.
Sorry. So these two Nas albums were really wonderful. Obviously, I love the Bangles album all over the place. So when I saw an original Japanese first pressing on Columbia. I thought, hey, why not? So I picked that up. Not much more to say about that. The association, of course, we had Jim Yester and
Jules
Alexander. I don't know if Jules is on this record, but one record in the association's canon that's really underrated and kind of forgotten is their last album before they broke up and came back later. Waterbeds in Trinidad.
Great
I
album.
really love this record, and it's very rare. The UK pressing is really rare. I've never seen one before, but of course, Nostalgia Palazzo had one. And no, I did not pay $225. It's 225 crowns, which is about $25. So it's not cheap, but it's not crazy. So an original pressing of that. So I picked that up.
That's nice.
Very popular duo in the UK in the 60s were the twin brothers, I believe identical twins, Paul and Barry Ryan. They had a few hits as a duo. Even though I believe they were identical, and if somebody knows otherwise, if Andy's still up here, maybe he knows. Turns out Paul Ryan did not like touring at all. He didn't like playing live. He had stage fright. While Barry, on the other hand, really wanted to be a pop star, and he loved every minute of it. So eventually they stopped. Paul and Barry Ryan stopped performing. Paul said, listen, Barry, you go out there, do your thing. I'll write all the songs. And that's what he did. And Barry Ryan had a huge hit in the UK with a song called Eloise, which kind of sort of in a MacArthur Park vein in that it's very bombastic. It hardly made the charts in the US, but made it to number 2 in the UK. Barry Ryan then went on to have a bunch more hits in the UK, nothing as big as Eloise. But it was a great combination, Paul writing, Barry performing. I would have loved to have had Barry Ryan on Material Issues. And in fact, he was around until only a few years ago when he passed away.
2021,
so too late for that. But I mean, you see him in interviews and he just loved that kind of attention. So those were the things so far that I've gotten in Nostalgia Palazzo. There will be more. All right, then after we went to Nostalgia Palazzo, we went to another favorite record store of ours called Mickey's Music. And Mickey is an older Swedish gentleman, big record collector himself, very, very nice guy. And he was very impressed with me the first time I was there because I knew about the band The Jackpots, who were a big Swedish band who had a big hit with a song called Jack in the Box. And he said, no American has ever told me about them. No American has ever heard of them. And he had me do a video. He was still friends with the lead singer.
Oh, wow.
He had me do a video saying hi to the lead singer. I love your music. I just got your 2 albums in Sweden. I could never find them anywhere else. And I don't know if he ever saw it. He probably did. But
wow, how cool.
Mickey, I have to thank Jeremy Morris. He's the one who told me about Mickey's. He'd been there he'd been to Stockholm before I had. And he got to know Mickey as a really fine gentleman. And I got a couple of things there that are very cool. I never had an original UK pressing of Disraeli Gears.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he had one of the laminated ones. It's the first pressing laminated. Record's in pretty good shape, not perfect, but I'd say VG plus. The cover's nice. And it was reasonably priced. So I picked that up. He gave me a nice discount on it. Then the only copy I think I have of this album, the Trogs, their debut From Nowhere, is kind of beat up, but this one was in pretty good shape. And it's got Wild Thing.
Yeah.
And also one of their softer songs called Jingle Jangle, which kind of, in a way, foreshadows Love Is All Around. Very pretty song. I think about the Trogs, and I think about the most underrated albums of the 60s. And my number one pick is Evolution by the Hollies, UK version.
Okay.
It's just got 12 amazing songs, but critics never really thought much of it. You'll never see it on anybody's top album list of the 60s. You'll see it on mine, but not on other people's. And then the Trog Cellophane, which is their fourth album. Let me think, is that right? Third or fourth? And that's the one with Love Is All Around, which is the final track.
Right.
But you can almost see, like, you can almost picture Kurt Cobain having heard it. It's very pop, but it's also very primal, the way the drumming sounds, and Reg Presley's kind of growly vocals, and it's just a really good pop album. But with that sort of that kind of attitude that Nirvana had. He obviously heard Love Buzz by Shocking Blue, and Nirvana covered that. So, I don't know. I don't know if Kurt Cobain ever heard Cellophane, but I always think about Nirvana when I listen to that album. And that's another one that you'd think the Trogs would have a little more cred, but none of their albums are considered to be particularly vital in the music community.
No, I think just the fact that they had Wild Thing just kind of tainted everything, because that's all you know.
It might have.
Yeah.
But they had a lot of other great songs, and Cellophane is a solid record all the way through. And I think, it's not my favorite album, but it's certainly among my favorite 60s albums, and should be given more recognition, but it just hasn't been.
I agree.
So there's that. The last thing I want to show is my friend P.O., who I just mentioned. He was kind enough to get me a Record Store Day release, which I think is Swedish only. And why it's Swedish only is mind-boggling when you see what it is. No Dice by Badfinger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, didn't see it on a US US list, didn't see it on a UK list. But I don't remember where I saw it. Maybe someone on Facebook posted it, another Swedish person. He saw my post, because I posted saying, what the hell? Why is this not a US Record Store Day release? Why is it not a UK, for God's sakes, Record Store Day release? You think people would rather buy some of the stuff they did do? I don't even want to mention, but no store in the US that I know of.
Just like in baseball, man, analytics. There's got to be something to it, No,
I mean, I have no problem with analytics. I'm a big stats guy in baseball. I know you don't favor them as much as I do, but analytics are all well and good, but if you don't use them correctly, I mean, like think about, we talk about Lay's and some of the ketchup flavor and some of the potato chip flavors, like ketchup,
right?
Like, who in the world? So some suits at Lay's are having a corporate meeting, and they're talking about their ketchup chips, and they're saying, well, where should we market these? What do you think about California? Nah, they're not going to go for it.
They're not going to go for it.
Why? Let's just give them all the spicy.
They don't eat potato chips, period, out there.
No. All the spicy flavors that Lay's does are out in California. But ketchup chips never, and I'm sure there are other people like me in California who would love those. But so, I don't know. I have no idea what kind of analytics they use, or optics, as they like to say in the corporate world. I don't know what analytics the Record Store Day people use to suggest that. No, I only
released this in Sweden.
Now, here's the thing. I have not seen the Swedish. I should have looked in my Swedish album book. Maybe this album finished number one there.
Yeah.
It certainly did not finish number one in the US or the UK. So it is possible. But even if that's the case, only in Sweden, I don't know. Well, thankfully, he got it for me, because I haven't seen it yet at any record store. Maybe Pet Sounds will have it, but it's also on. I haven't opened it yet, but limited edition orange. So, and replica artwork. It's a gatefold like the original was. It's a 2010 remaster. which was done for CDs, but never on vinyl until now. So that was great. I ended up giving him 3 different IPO volumes for it.
Nice.
Because he was nice enough to go and pick it up for me. So anyway, if you're listening, which you probably aren't, but if you ever do, thank you so much for getting that. So anyway, that's I did buy a bunch of other stuff, but nothing that was necessarily worthy of showing here. But yeah, there'll be more. Rest assured, there'll be more. And then, of course, in Glasgow, there's some great record shops that we went to a couple of years ago. I'm sure there'll be things from there as well. But we won't have time to talk about them next week because we will have a guest. But anyway, do you want to hear some stuff?
Let's hear some stuff. Yeah, you got some bands lined up here that I'm not familiar with, and I'm looking forward to it.
No, I mean, I don't think there's anything here. Well, maybe one song here would qualify as power pop. But, again, IPO has gotten way more diverse, and especially in Liverpool. And so we have 3 new albums by acts who played IPO Liverpool and 2 new albums by acts who played IPO Stockholm. And we're going to play a song from each of these albums. And the first one I want to play is, and I want to play hers first because she did a very nice thing for IPO. She made her IPO show her record release, and
nice.
A lot of people came to buy her record there. Came out on CD and vinyl on the day of the release, last Friday. Leonie Jacobi, her name is, and What Are the People Gonna Say is the title of the album. And she's a young lady from Germany. I can't remember which city. It's not one of the bigger ones. She's been living on and off in Liverpool for the last several years. I guess she went to music school here. And she decided to make Liverpool more or less her permanent home, although she does go back to Germany every now and then. And I consider her a German artist because, well, she's got a German accent and everything. This new record's really good. It's it's really good girl pop. Just very catchy stuff. A little commercial at times, but there are certain songs that remind me of the Go-Go's a bit, like the one I'm going to play, the second song. But before he gets, she's unfailingly happy. Look at this cover. Look at the huge smile she has. That's how she is. Even when she's off stage or on, and if you look at her Facebook videos, she's always smiling then too. So I don't know if this is tears of a Leonie when in real life she's always depressed. I don't think so. I think she's a really happy person, and she should be because she's very talented. So we're going to play the second track on the new album. What Are the People Gonna Say? And the track is called So Much Love to Give here on Material Issues.
I kept my
That was Leonie Jacobi.
Yeah.
Her album came out last Friday, and it's full of tracks like that. It's called "What Are the People Gonna Say?" I think
really
they're
like
say
that.
it's really good.
Yeah, I really like that. That's you know, I get the Go-Go's ish kind of thing, but it certainly rocks.
Very 80s girl. I hear
very
some Kim
bright.
Wilde in there too.
Bright and happy. I'd crank that and get out in the highway and drive. Yeah, that's
Yeah, there you go. I mean, a lot of the songs on the album are like that, and they were really great live. She had a kick-ass band, and I mean, yeah, it was one of the better performances at IPO this year for sure.
Nice.
So yeah, she went all out for this record release, and you know, it paid dividends. She sold quite a few. I think she sold out of her vinyl, and sold a few CDs as well. So yeah, I'm glad it worked. It was a win-win for both of us. So I'm glad it happened.
Well, I mean, as much as you know, guitar pop and things like that are not all the rage at this time and place. You could see somebody like that breaking through and being different, and you know, and being liked by a younger audience. And you know,
I wish her the best. Believe me, she's a cool person and a very talented lady, and she deserves it. So we'll see what happens.
That's great. Loved it.
Good. Yeah. One of the bands that went over really, really well is a band from Northern Ireland called Greg Murray and the Seven Wonders. They played IPO a couple of years ago, and then came back again this year. And they is a big band, and their songs are just the kind of songs that just kind of raucous at times live, and they really get the crowd involved. You know, Northern Ireland drinking type songs. But he has a new album, a solo record called The Pain and Glory. And some of the songs are that way, and some of them are a little softer. I think as a solo artist, he's not going for as much of the rock thing as he does when he plays live. But some really cool tracks on here just came out sometime this year. And the one I want to play is called, and I remember the band did this one live, so it resonated. Wish I Was in Love with You, the fourth track by Greg Murray here on Material Issues.
I wish I was in love with you. I wish I was a part of you. I wish I was the best part of you. It could have been the fall of love. It could have been the God above. It could have been the God above. Turn your dreams to plan. I wanna turn your cans to cash, your dreams to plan. You see an empty hollow shell. You see a real living hell. You see an empty hollow shell.
Dig it.
I don't know exactly what happened on your end. Did the whole song play?
Yeah, whole song played. You just disappeared for a while and came back out of the cornfield.
Yeah. Well, what happened was the way Wi-Fi works here, it seems like after a certain amount of maybe 24 hours, it just disconnects and you have to sign back in again.
I thought you had to put a quarter just like the vibrating bed.
Right. Yeah. I wish.
Remember those days in hotel rooms with a quarter and the bed would go? No?
And not for a long time.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I had no idea what was going on. When I hit the play button, it just spun, and I refreshed the page, and then suddenly I got the home page of the hotel saying that I needed to sign in. I said, okay, I get it.
Now the whole song played, and I was really digging it, man. I love like the subtle horn sections in the back, and when you said a whole gang of people on stage, and it was a big production. I could see that. I could hear.
There was a big production, lots of horn players, and the crowd just loved these guys, and they're such nice people. Also,
good stuff. I mean, I love it. Yeah, great.
Yeah. The band is called Greg Murray and the Seven Wonders, but this is, I guess, considered a solo record. It's got 18 songs on it. Who's he think he is? Cal Everett? But yeah. But yeah, so I'm not sure where this can be gotten. Maybe on Bandcamp. I haven't really looked, but I'm sure it's available. Again, the people who want this kind of stuff, they know, they'll search hard to get it if they really want it.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, there's that.
Really dig it. Good stuff.
Yeah. Next album or track from album is by Welligan. The band is called Welligan. The main man is Jamie Welligan. He used to live in Liverpool, moved down to London, put this band together, and his latest album is called In Pursuit of Enchote Visions of Beauty. You don't see Enchote too often.
I was just looking at that saying, I'm going to have to look that up. What is Enchote?
I'm trying to remember because I had to look it up also. It's a word I'd heard before, but damned if I knew what it meant. And then I looked it up, and my sleep deprived brain could not retain that information. So.
Well, it's perfect for your sleep deprived brain because it means just begun and so not fully formed or developed. Rudimentary.
All right. Well, yeah. Rudimentary visions of beauty. He's in pursuit of that. Okay. Well, good luck there, Mr. Welligan. A lot of really cool people helped him. The main guy that I want to mention is Nick Frater, who every pop person worth his or her salt knows who Nick is. Nick unfortunately couldn't do IPO Liverpool this year. He normally does, but he was moving house, so he didn't. He wasn't able to get away. But anyway, this is a really nice album. Some Bacharackian stuff. Some. Just kind of soft pop, gentle, but a couple of more up-tempo numbers. And I wanted to play one of those. It's the 11th track on the album, and it's called Back at Square One. In the US, we would say Back To. Over there, they say Back At, I guess. So anyway, without further ado, Back at Square One by Welligan here on Material Issues.
When I got up from my bed, it was evening. Just a regular trip these days. Put a record on and stare at the ceiling, maladjusted to a deep malaise. So let's get out of this shadow land and into the daylight. We'll have to revert to our shades. We've got habits. Everybody's got habits. Tablet dropping, each one of us pill popping. How do we
And that was Welligan, Back to Square One, from the brand new album. I can't remember the title without. In Search of Inchoate Meanings of Beauty. Oh, Visions of Beauty.
Visions of Beauty.
In Pursuit of Inchoate Visions of Beauty.
There we go. In Pursuit of Inchoate Visions of Beauty. On
the great 9x9 Records label, run by the owners of 81 Renshaw, where I got that Satanic Majesties album.
There you go.
There are certain songs you hear and you know they've got to be from a British artist. There's no way that could have been done by an American. And it's I think it's really good stuff.
Hey, interestingly enough, I just saw Leonie Jacobi posted a clip from her IPO festival performance. It's already got 1,300 views.
Well, as we always say, she's prettier than we are.
Yeah.
She's also a much more talented musician than I am. I won't speak for you because you play a bunch of songs at the restaurant, and you're pretty good at it. So I don't know if she's more talented than you, but
it's nice. I looked on YouTube to see if she had anything from the Cavern, and she does have a nice clip there and a big IPO festival at the Cavern description. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, look, I really wish her the best. She's talented and she deserves it. So, hopefully the industry doesn't deem her too old. But again, I mean, what are we talking about here? There's no industry, But for someone like her, success would be getting signed to a label that has some money that could put her on tour. A small tour around Europe. The good thing, of course, about Europe is that the countries are pretty small and, they're all near each other. So it's not that hard to play, 6-7 countries without traveling all that far. So if she could find a label that could give her some tour support.
I think she's one of those artists also that happy, bright sound and whatnot. There are that's kind of ripe for like music supervision and getting into, Amazon Prime or Hulu, whatever series type of thing, because they play a lot of sometimes, on the cusp of being known type artists. And
for sure,
that'd be right. That'd be ripe for that.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully she has. I don't know who's handling her. I don't know if she's doing her own promotion and everything, or she has a manager. But hopefully somebody who knows how to get her songs to the right music supervisors, and somebody does see what you just saw and gets it to the right people in the industry, and suddenly she's on a soundtrack. So hopefully that does happen. All right, so I've got 2 albums by acts from Stockholm who played IPO Stockholm, and one was an act that had played IPO Liverpool back in the day, and then our early ventures in Stockholm, then went on hiatus and came back recently. It was great to hear from them, and of course, very glad to have them back at IPO Stockholm. They're called the Plastic Pals, and the album is called Keep It Burning, a brand new record, they're a really cool melodic rock band, and I think people in the power pop world will appreciate this album. I haven't had a chance to hear it all, but what I saw live from them yesterday, when they played a lot of tracks from it, I think it's got some potential. Anyway, I'm going to play the title track, not the title track, the first track, called Saturday Night and Sunday Morning by Plastic Pals here on Material Issues.
Saturday night and Sunday morning, sun peeking through my bedroom blinds without a warning. Trying to recall yesterday evening, a lot of words gushed through my mouth. I didn't mean them. I saw the signs, I ignored them all. Saturday night, Sunday morning in my head. Now here Monday comes, no peace for the weekend. It's like I signed up to take the ride, but lost the tickets. Tuesday, Wednesday, going through the motions. Thursday, Friday, getting ready for the commotion. Pile of passion slated for Crashville, exploding on Saturday night. Come tomorrow, all we can do is try and set things right. Somewhere inside, I know my groceries. Saturday night, Sunday morning in my head. Is that all there is? And let's keep dancing. Saturday night, Sunday morning in my head. Saturday night, Sunday morning in my head. Saturday night, Sunday morning in my head.
Yeah.
And that was the Plastic Pals, Saturday night and Sunday morning. To me, it's got that late 70s kind of pub rock, classic rock UK sound.
Oh yeah. No.
Some of the song reminded me of What's So Funny About Peace, Love, and Understanding. They kind of riffed on that in the beginning of it, in the beginning of the verses. Then went another path. But yeah, they are.
Got that inflection in the voice. It's got that. Yeah. It's got that rock pile kind of pub rock.
Yeah, the keyboard sounds are very nice.
Yeah, no, you're right. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, really good stuff.
4 for 4 tonight, man. Great
Good.
stuff.
Trying.
And I just got a visit from Audie and Ches. Just walked into the room quickly to see what I was doing.
They become Plastic Pals fans.
I think they like Plastic Pals, and they came in to comment on it. Yeah,
they should. Yeah, good. They're showing good taste.
Good stuff.
Good for them.
Where are they from again?
They're from Stockholm.
Stockholm. Okay.
Yeah.
No wonder.
Yeah, they're from Stockholm, as is the final band I'm going to play tonight, and they played IPO Stockholm tonight. They're a band called Salt Lake Alley, and they have a brand new record called Always Out of Time. And of course, I see something that looks a little like a clock and a watch. I'm always intrigued. This record just came out a little bit ago. And why am I taking the CD out? I don't know.
Is it on red vinyl CD?
Yeah, right. They got a really good kind of jangly sound, definitely reminiscent of late 80s UK, like Orange Juice, bands like that, which is a really cool thing. I'm going to play the title song, which happens to be the first track on the album. So the song Always Out of Time by Salt Lake Alley here on Material Issues. And that was, as you could probably guess, even if you didn't know this, anything about the song, "Always Out of Time" by Salt Lake Alley. And yeah, I mean, there's one thing, and you know, you as much of a lover of Scandinavian pop as I am. There's something unmistakable about the vocals, no matter what style they're trying to do, and they're certainly going for that late '80s. You know, I hear kind of a, like I said, Orange Juice, House Martins, you know, kind of UK thing. But you know, they're not from the UK, not with that. And it's not even just the accent; it's the inflections. And you know, when you hear Swedish people have a very I don't know if I want to say sing-songy voice, but there's a lot of rhythm to the way they speak.
Yes.
And you know, very, you know, and you can say the same about Norway. I mean, it's a Scandinavian rhythm.
Scandinavian thing, yeah. And I'll tell you what, I like that song a lot. But here's where my mind was going with that. If the drumming wasn't quite so frenetic,
I knew you were going to say that.
If it wasn't quite so frenetic, then that, and if it was cut in half almost speed-wise as far as the drums, that would fit so perfectly in early '90s, you know, Swedish pop that I love so much, because you hear that, you know, ethereal kind of that layered of sound. And again, like you said, the vocals is just something to Scandinavian vocals. But what got me, and I liked it, it's not that I didn't like the song, I liked the song a lot, but the drumming was really like it makes them who they are. But
yeah, I know it does.
You know,
and I didn't pay that much attention to that element. And again, the way, unfortunately, and I didn't really notice it this much at the first 2 years we were in Encore, and maybe they did something to the construction of it, but just way too bassy. So unfortunately, that was kind of getting in the way of certain elements of these bands. And I think they have some songs that aren't quite as up tempo, and the drumming's not frenetic. I need to listen to the full album. Yeah, I mean, it just, and again, it's so gratifying that these bands, and these guys must be, you know, around 30-ish, maybe a little older, but certainly not much older. It's just great that these bands have an appreciation for things that came before they were born. They clearly, you know, love 80s UK pop, and probably, as you mentioned, some of the early 90s Scandinavian bands, you know, that were on like Soap Records, for example. They probably really were into that kind of thing, and that's what they're going for. And it's just, you know, I'm just so glad that there are still some bands around that are doing this stuff.
And to speak of that, just for a quick side note, my good friend here in South Jersey, Dave Maybaum, he's a vinyl collector. You know, he loves a lot of, you know, great pop and rock. He's more classic rock and things, but I had given him a compilation CD years ago of some Scandinavian bands and things, and he came across it, I guess, 2 weeks ago, and he calls me up. He goes, "Oh my God, I'm having a revelation. I forgot all about this." And he says to me, if you were to give me the name of like a really great Swedish band that I should listen to right away, right now, what would it be?" And I said Beagle. You know,
yeah.
All right. So about an hour later, he texts me back. He goes, "Oh my God, who are these Beagle people? Oh my God." He goes, "I have to have everything they've ever done. Where do I find it?" So I said, "Good luck finding it, but you know, you'll be able to hear it in places." And I started giving him a rundown of like 5 or 6 more bands, and he's like, stop, it's Overload. And he's been asking me ever since about another name or another band. So he's discovered this Scandinavian pop, which is wonderful.
It's great.
You know,
it is. But you know, again, I'm very gratified that there are bands around today that are, you know, aren't 50 or 60 years old.
Yep.
Younger that are doing this kind of stuff. So
good on them. That was that's really good. And of course, you know how much I love Scandinavian pop, and that one hit home good. I loved it.
Oh, good. So yeah, so those were the. I mean, most of the some of the CDs I got already sent back, but most of the ones I got were not necessarily 2026. So I wanted to concentrate on
Mhm.
things that just came out that are obviously more readily available. Some of the stuff, even from a few years ago, is hard to find now. You were mentioning how hard. Good luck trying to find the Beagle stuff.
Mhm.
A couple of years ago at Nostalgia Palazzo, Rena happened to look in the 20 Crown CD section, very small section that was almost on the outside of the store. And 20 Crowns about, 250. That's it. And she found the second Beagle CD with it. But again,
Yeah.
that that was pretty amazing. But you got to be in Stockholm to do something like
Right.
that.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But no, that's great. Great stuff. 5 for 5 tonight. Great
Good.
artists. Yeah. Good
I'm
stuff.
glad, a little bit more diversity. It wasn't, all
Yeah.
power pop or anything. We did have several power pop bands at IPO, but they didn't happen to have new albums, so it just
Mhm.
didn't work out that way. But anyway, so that's more or less all I have right now. My mind is such mush. It's already 2:00 and in the morning here, and I haven't had much sleep to begin with. Plus, of course, IPO itself takes a lot out of me.
Sure. Yeah.
So I damned if I know the guests that we have coming up. I do know next week's.
Well, let's run through a couple of things here. Next week, the 14th, back to our normal time. No, actually, no. It's at 6 p.m. It's earlier again. It's 6 p.m.
6 p.m. your time.
Eastern. Yeah, Eastern.
So that'll be 11 p.m. Glasgow.
Right.
Actually, Inverness time.
We decided to do it a little earlier if possible, so you wouldn't be up as late. So it's going to be 6 p.m. Next Saturday. We've got all 4 bricks, jelly bricks, that is. Wicked cool artists, formerly on Pop Detective, briefly for their coolest song in the world on Little Steven's Underground Garage. They've been on recently Little Steven's Underground Cruise with a whole bunch of artists. But Larry, Garrick, Bryce, and Tommy, the Jelly Bricks, Central Pennsylvania Video of the Year this last year.
Oh, that's great.
They got all kinds of accolades, and they are just great guys. Great guys.
They really are. I mean, they're it's nice when good people have good things happen to them, and not only are they good people, but they're such talented musicians. They've been a hardworking power pop band for many, many years, and I'm glad they were able to hook up with Little Steven and Wicked Cool, and they're starting to get some of the cred that they've always deserved. And so yeah, that'll be great having them on. I haven't seen them for a couple of years, so it'll be nice to say hi and talk to them about their career and whatnot.
And then following that, I think we're back at our normal time on the 21st with another shoe.
Oh, that's right. Show. Yes. So I'll be home at that point. God knows what my sleep pattern will be, but it will be the normal time, which would be 5 o'clock Pacific and 8 o'clock Eastern. And yes, we had Jeff Murphy of Shoes on a few years ago, and now we're going to have guitar player Gary Cleve, who has a new solo record out, which I don't have in front of me, which I do have in front of me when I'm home, but not now. It's been getting a lot of good press. And, it's Gary Cleve. To me, he always wrote the best songs in the band. So, it's nice that he got a chance to do a solo record, and he put it out on his own black vinyl label.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It will be out, I believe, at that point. I know it's going to be out at the end of June officially. I was able to get an early copy, fortunately, but it's good stuff. And Gary's a good guy. So we'll talk about his perspective of Shoes and their career, and doing the solo record now and how that feels, and it will it'll be fun.
Cool. All right, well, we got that going on the 21st, back at our normal time, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And then on the 28th, speaking of IPO, one of the places that you love to play in Chicago, Montrose Saloon. We're gonna have the owner of that place, Eric,
The owner of that place, the owner of Montrose Saloon, one of my favorite clubs in which we've ever done IPO. Actually, Montrose's Saloon is, it's a musician's venue. Bands love to play there, and a lot of it is because Eric is their friend. He's got empathy for them. He hangs out a lot at the club, and especially when his friends' bands play, and they love playing for him. But it's been wonderful for IPO as well. It's really the perfect spot for us. We always have good crowds there, and and Eric loves what we're doing, and we love him for that. And again, like, he and his wife let me stay at their home, which is very convenient, and of course saves me a ton of money. And so I'm forever grateful. And we've never had a club owner on material issues. So he and I think I mentioned this a few weeks ago on the show, but he and I were talking, and it's amazing. Musicians don't know necessarily, and promoters like myself, festival organizers, we don't know either what club owners have to go through to keep things going. It's a tough economy to begin with. And then, of course, the interest in live original music just keeps waning and waning as more people are favoring tribute bands and DJs and just simply not going out to see live music.
Yeah.
And so for an owner of a club who's a musician himself and who really loves live original music, to be able to continue to do it, there's a lot of hoops that have to be jumped through, and a lot of pitfalls, and just struggling to keep the club going. And again, there's certain considerations that we would never, well, for lack of a better word, consider. Things he was telling me about, and I'm not going to say them. I'd rather he did. Things that happen around COVID, for example.
Right.
Things that happen just as a general course of events that club owners have to be concerned about. And a lot of musicians are very critical of club owners and the climate now, and some of them just don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And again, even I don't necessarily get it.
Their understanding is very in choked.
Yeah, that's right. It is.
I'm using that word every day for the next week.
It is a great word. So I work more closely with some of the owners than the musicians do.
Sure. Yeah.
But even I have to. Even there's revelations, and you have to be mindful. And I'm just saying this: you have to be grateful in this climate to any club owner that's willing to do live original music.
Yeah.
It would be so much easier for them to just say, "Screw that. We're going to hire cover bands, tribute bands, and DJs,
right.
And we're going to have great crowds, and we'll rake in the dough." And he doesn't have DJs. He's had some cover bands and tribute bands. He needs to do that every now and then to pay the freight. But other clubs have abandoned live original music entirely,
right?
And he will not do it. And so.
Awesome.
To all musicians who play original live music, you can complain about what's going on all you want, but we're lucky. We are really lucky to have venues that are still doing this, because they're slowly but surely disappearing. And if we don't appreciate the ones that are still here, and the clubs get a sense that we aren't appreciating it, won't be hard for them to make the decision to just abandon it altogether. So
it'll disappear. I'm
just saying, no, you never want to be abused by a club owner, that's for sure. But be mindful of the fact that this is not easy for them to keep going. Right. It really is not.
Absolutely.
And I learned, talking with Eric, I learned more and more about that. So we'll get his perspective.
That's going to be interesting.
As a club owner and as a musician who's played in different clubs, the things he does to help make musicians' experience at his club a good one. And, he's also an attorney, so he's a very articulate guy. So this should be a really informative and fun episode.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
It.
That'll be on the 28th, the last Sunday in June, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And then the day after, July 4th, July 5th, we could be reading this stuff all summer long. You know, if we
I think I know who you're talking about.
I'm trying to drop hints to not stump the bash on who our guests are.
Yeah, because believe me, I have forgotten, unfortunately, right now in the head space. I mean, I should have written it down, but unfortunately I was lame and didn't. But yeah, a few years ago, we had noted Beach Boys historian and author David Leaf as a guest on Material Issues. Now we're going to have another David, who's a huge Beach Boys fan, David Beard, who has written a new book. What's the title?
All Summer Long.
No, it is All Summer Long.
All Summer Long.
Yeah. One of their more, you know, not a huge hit, but it was on Endless Summer, and it also ended up being in the closing credits of American Graffiti, which is probably what gave it the most fame. So yeah, certainly a good choice as a book title. David Beard has been a Beach Boys fan acolyte for many, many years. I think he founded Endless Summer Quarterly, the Beach Boys devoted magazine that has been out for years and years. So yeah, he's a devoted fan, and he'll have his perspective on the band. You know, his I'm sure he's met several of the members, we'll just get a nice, further insight into.
It's a great book. It's a great book. It's a real easy read. I've been through it already. It's
oh good. I haven't had a chance.
It's really good. Yeah.
I'll definitely get to it once I get home and be prepared for the episode. But yeah, David Beard on July 5th.
July 5th.
Yeah, very appropriate. July 4th, of course, being the day that the Beach Boys went in 1983 and played at the Washington Monument in front of like 1 billion people.
Yeah. So that'd be good. That'd be great. It's on the day after the holiday. So you guys will be around for the weekend. Everybody tune into Material Issues and check out David Beard all summer long. Be another great.
Remember that? I don't know if you remember this. Maybe you've just known it anyway, but back in '83, prior to them playing the Washington Monument, one of the White House staff, James Watt, I can't remember who he was in the cabinet. For whatever reason, he had gotten some intel on the Beach Boys that said they were unsavory characters. And in a sense, he's not wrong. They certainly were. Stephen Gaines' book illuminated that quite well. But unsavory or not, their image was squeaky clean. I mean, they stood for summer, for girls, for cars, for just fun at the beach. Even though in their career they did a lot more than that, that's what they were always known for, and that was what was going to bring the people in. Playing songs from Sunflower and Love You and MIU weren't going to do it. But if they played Endless Summer tracks at the Washington Monument, then you were going to have 1 million people, guys with girls on their shoulders wearing virtually nothing. Maybe that was part of the problem, but no, it was all clean. But anyway, James Watt had recommended to Reagan, like, I don't think we should have these people. And Reagan got his own intel that said Watt was a nut job, and there's nothing wrong. We can't find anything, untoward about the Beach Boys. We're happy to have him. And then James Watt had to publicly go on TV, be interviewed, and he had this statue of a foot in mouth statue. He said, "Yeah, I put my foot in my mouth. I don't know what I was talking about, but the Beach Boys are always welcome here." Nice. And so it went. Anyway, do we have any other guests after David Beard?
Well, the July 12th and the 19th right now, they are open, and we were talking about playing some more music, maybe doing a Beat the Bash, Stump the Bash, things like that. However, there are some irons in the fire, so that could change in the next week or so. So again, materialissues.com. It's going across the bottom. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, or if you haven't gone out here to Facebook and looked up Material Issues Group and joined the group, do that, because David sends out an email or a text or whatever on Fridays, just letting you know what's coming up on Sunday. But then the final thing that we have actually booked right now is on the 26th. And we've got to choose our words wisely when we describe
26th of July.
The 26th of July. A good friend of both of ours, Mr. Willie Wisely, currently promoting the 30th anniversary of his album She, which is a great one, and
coming out on vinyl for the first time ever.
First time ever.
Yeah, it was originally released in 1996 when virtually nobody was doing vinyl. Certainly no one in the U.S. And very few acts in the U.K. were still doing it. So that album never had come out on vinyl, and now it will as a 30th anniversary.
Yep.
Willie is a great, very clever singer-songwriter. I went to see him at a concert, at a house concert. He did it at his own home, and that was a lot of fun. He played IPO a few times. He was living in Minneapolis for a while, but is he now back in LA, or is he somewhere else?
I thought he was in LA for a long time. I thought he went back to Minneapolis. I think he's still in LA. His wife was a dentist, I think, in there, and has a practice. So I don't think he's gone back to Minneapolis, but I could be wrong.
I don't know why I had the sense. I don't know why I had the sense that he wasn't home.
He does a lot of shows because he's preparing this big 30th anniversary show with a lot of people that were originally involved with the album back in Minneapolis, and they're doing it front to back and playing the whole thing. So if you're in Minneapolis, that would be a great show to go to.
Oh my God, yeah, I would certainly be there, and I look forward to. I'll certainly be purchasing the vinyl of She.
Yes, indeed. Yeah,
no doubt about it. So yeah, we can look forward to that as well. But now I think I should sign off because I'm kind of losing it here.
You're losing. It's no big deal. It's great. My doggies want to go outside. I'm a little tired after a great show with Vivica and Palmyra Del Rey last night.
Yeah.
But we're going to sign off. We appreciate everybody hanging out. Next Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. The Jelly
11 p.m. UK,
11
where
p.m.
I'll be
UK, 12
in Inverness.
12 p.m. Stockholm time.
Yeah.
Just like you're watching. It's all good. Jelly Bricks next Sunday. So good to see you.
And I'll talk briefly, of course, before we bring them on about IPO Glasgow and how it went.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, be great. But hey, Rena's sleeping, but loved Rena, and
love to Ches and Audie, who are not sleeping, who probably want you to take them out.
If we never see you again because you got eaten by Nessie, good on you. At least you'll have discovered the lock.
No, I won't. We will not see Nessie until Monday. So
all right.
I will not have been eaten in any way, shape, or form by Nessie on Sunday.
It's all good. We'll have a great time, and we'll see everybody next Sunday right here on Material.
Absolutely. Be good, everyone. Have a great week, and hopefully we see you next Sunday. Cheers.